You're listening to The Drew Yari Show.
That's the wine and diner with kings and queens.
You're looking at the man. You're listening to The Drew Yari Show.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to a special Saturday night episode of the podcast. Like I mentioned before, I wasn't available, or here's the thing. So, as a lot of y'all know, or might not know, I'll just repeat myself again. So, I started a new work schedule, and I'm working mornings, and I get out at 3, or, more than... It's always usually at 3. That's just the antithesis, 7 to 3. I have Mondays and Tuesdays off, but then after that, I'm working Wednesday until Sunday. And then I started the Patreon, which is something I've been wanting to do for a while. And so I have the Patreon actually pinned to the chat, so you can just look it up, or whatever. So for the past 2 weeks, I've been really paying attention to the Patreon. I've done a few shows. I've done 2 shows with RJ already because our old list is amazing. The point of me and RJ's show is just to do like top 5, top 10 lists. Nothing wrestling related. That's kind of the point of the Patreon. Is it's not like this show where this show's free and it's mainly a wrestling show, and also for Patreon it's more just talking about the kind of shit that I like. So me and RJ are doing a show. Me and Jeff Lippman have a show, but that more than likely might be like an every other week type of deal, because Jeff's a busy boy. He's got like 15 shows, even though he's got 15 shows. He's a rookie. Like, come on, Jeff, come on, do some shows for the rest of us. But yeah, check out me and Jeff's show. We just did one. We talked for damn near 3 hours. And me and Ruben got something lined up on Monday. I don't really know if I should divulge too much about what me and Ruben are doing, so I guess you guys will just have to find out on Monday. And then me and another friend of mine got a sports show lined up, but that probably isn't anytime soon. Other than that, go sign up to the Patreon, guys. You're missing some good shit. Like, I'm not just saying that because it's me. I'm saying that because it's the guests. It's me and RJ. Me and RJ. Again, I mean, it's always fun having RJ on to talk. To talk about wrestling, talk, anything, talk, movies and, nerdy shit we like. Same thing with Ruben. It's always good to have him on. Same thing with Jeff. And, in the future, there might be more guests or some newer guests. But anyways, this show is always going to stay the same. It's always going to be free. You're always going to hear it on Spreaker. You can hear it on Patreon as well. The full unedited, uncut version on Patreon, and the cleaned up, edited version you'll hear on Spreaker. So this show is always going to stay the same. There's nothing about this show is going to change. As far as when I'll be able to record, that's always the question. I mean, there might be some days where I won't or I might have to flip-flop, recording dates for the show. Like today, for example, I didn't want to not do a show, because I didn't want to, piss you guys off. So I just decided to move it to a different date, like Saturday, since I'm out of work and got the house all to myself. So I decided I'm just gonna do like an hour, just to talk shit. And I'm waiting for my food to get here, and it is yet to get here. But whatever. Anyways, so yeah, there is a strong possibility that this show the recording dates will have to be flipped around. It just all depends on the schedule. Like if I have something else lined up on another day. But again, this show is always going to stay the same. The show is always going to be around, and that's that. But this show will definitely be a lot more shorter than most of the other shows I'm doing. Like, give me 1 second. I think that's the guy with the food. Hold on. Sorry about that. False alarm. These shows mainly will be a lot more shorter, probably like an hour or less. If there's a pay-per-view, then of course I'm always going to record with a guest, more or less. But I just thought I'd fill you guys in. But there isn't really too much to talk about today. NXT this week wasn't really that interesting. I forgot. On that day, I know I was recording with RJ. Because originally we were going to record during the day, like earlier in the day, but he wasn't feeling too hot. So he was just like, well, we try to, push for like later in the day. I'm like, all right, so fine with me. And then he fell asleep, and he's like, yeah, let's record in a bit because, A, B, C, and D. I was like, all right, cool with me. As long as we record, that's all that matters. So we ended up recording, and I just decided to move this show to a different day, which is today. But I had NXT on when me and him were recording, and I wasn't really... What was happening on the show was really not that interesting to begin with. I'm trying to remember what happened. I mean, I should probably just pull up the card anyway. Hold on. NXT. That dog is always barking. So you had Mercedes Martinez and Dakota Kai. Martinez defeats her by DQ. And let's see, Grizzled Young Veterans meet Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher. That was a segment. I know me and RJ were watching at the same time. I think his was ahead of mine. Tony Storm versus somebody named Zeta Ramir. She's a Booker T. She's a student at Booker T's class, and then Tony Storm loses clean after interference from I was going to call her Tony Stark, Zoe Stark. So I mean, I'm not gonna lie, she had a pretty sick looking shooting star, press. I can't even lie. And to earn an NXT North American title match, Bronson Reed and Austin Theory. Reed wins, so he's going to face Johnny Gargano again because that went so well the first time. Yeah, Killian Dane and Drake Maverick versus Imperium. We already saw this. Like, didn't we see this last week? I was just again. I can't hate Drake Maverick because I think he's a nice guy and everything, but I have zero interest in anything that he does. Like usually when he comes on screen, to me it's like, oh, bathroom break. Like that's just usually how it goes. And then Killian Dane, for like a minute he was interesting, and then he just kind of, again, does nothing for me. Let's see. Adam Cole interview. Adam Cole was interviewed by some guy. Who the fuck was it? He was interviewed by a new guy named Arash Markazi. I have no idea who that is. And he's just being, same old cocky prick. Starts talking about Kyle O'Reilly. They ask him about Karrion Kross, and he says Karrion Kross, he's good, but he's never faced me. Blah blah blah. So I'm guessing that sets up what I'm assuming is a triple threat, because you had Kyle O'Reilly, call out Karrion Kross, and they had their little stare down, which, I'll be honest, I like Kyle O'Reilly, but that was just comical because Kross is such a big guy. Like, he made Kyle O'Reilly look puny. And again, going back to Finn at least looks believable as a small guy because he looks like he can beat the shit out of you. Like, when he works out there, he looks like he works stiff. Like him and Cross in the ring look believable. You know, Kyle O'Reilly looks like he hasn't slept in days. Yeah, he looks like he eats drugs for breakfast. Like, that's how bad he looks. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure it would be a good match, but it's not going to be that interesting. And now the possibility of them making it a triple threat by, you know, putting Cole in it. I mean, it has the potential to be something. And, you know, coming off of what I think was Cross's best match, you know, you put him in the ring with Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly, he's really going to thrive out there. And that goes into my analysis about Roman Reigns, which we'll talk about in a bit. But yeah, Cross in a triple threat against Cole and O'Reilly, I think that should be something. That'd be an interesting match. I mean, hell, you can even make it a fatal four-way and put Finn in there. Let Finn get his rematch. That sounds like must-see television, in my opinion. Let's see. The main event was MSK and Kushida versus Legado del Fantasma. Did Kushida really get hurt? Because it looked like he actually got hurt. I know Legado del Fantasma won. Of course, you know, the heels got to get their just due. Or they got to get, you know, I guess their heat back. And you got Escobar standing over Kushida, just smiling and talking shit. And that sets up the eventual rematch for Kushida and Escobar's, you know, future rematch. I'm assuming whenever the next takeover is, I don't even know if they're going to be if it's going to be at a takeover, or it's probably going to be like at just a random episode of NXT. But the ratings didn't really draw as much as last year, or last. Why am I saying last year? Last week. Let's see. NXT only got 744,000 viewers. This week, AEW Dynamite dropped from, was it over 1 million from last week to only 889,000 viewers. Which people want to make the case of, yeah, Maurice, he got Biden, or they got Biden, that, you know, they're up against the presidential debate. Which, okay, I mean, whatever, but let's kind of segue into the SmackDown ring. The SmackDown ratings took a dip because last week they were over 2 million. There was it 2.1, and then they took a dip of was it 1.9? And I actually looked at the Nielsen ratings, and SmackDown's a 2-hour show in general, 7 to 9, and what was on the same time as SmackDown? The NFL Draft. And again, I'm not gonna be up here making excuses, but people actually want to watch the NFL Draft. They'd rather watch the NFL Draft, and you know, okay, whatever, good for them. At the end of the day, there's always going to be other things that other people want to watch. People want to watch the draft. People want to watch the presidential debate. People want to watch a basketball game. People want to watch a football game. You know, wrestling is not must see. I mean, yeah, I thought, you know, the main event of SmackDown was great, but other people would rather watch the NFL Draft. So whatever. Yeah, but like I mentioned, NXT wasn't really that great this week. I mean, no Cross, unless I blinked and missed him. Unless he made a cameo. Well, I mean, Maurice, was Cross even on NXT this week? Like in any capacity? Did he come in and make a promo that I didn't see, or make an appearance, or I don't know. Yeah, he's saying no. Yeah, that's just weird that Cross wasn't even on the show. Okay. AEW, of course, I didn't watch. I mean, because it's AEW. I can't. I can't deal with AEW anymore. I really can't. I have zero interest in it because it's just, I'm at the point where I'm the older I get and the more I watch wrestling, it's like I don't want to watch these spot shows anymore. I have zero interest in seeing these matches where guys do these stupid spots that involve kicking another guy in the face, kicking him in the back of the head, you know, falling on their fucking head and then not selling. It's like, I usually get my facts on the AEW shows through Cornette. That's about it. There was a match, I believe it was with, was it Trent and somebody else? And Trent took a pile driver on the entranceway. And he got up, or it was him and Pentagon. Pentagon did a pile driver to Trent. And he's quote unquote trying to sell it, but then Pentagon's manager starts talking shit about him, and then he gets up, makes a miraculous comeback. He's not selling a pile driver that, injured Stone Cold Steve Austin and fucked up his whole career. It's like I don't get how you don't sell. I don't get how the promoter doesn't get on these guys for not selling. Like, I really don't get it. So it's just frustrating to watch. And again, I've said with AEW, there's people that I do like. I like Thunder Rosa. I love Britt Baker. I like MJF, but they've kind of sullied MJF. They've kind of made him look like a bitch in some aspects. Here's one thing I'm surprised nobody wants to bring up is Jericho buries talent more than he helps talent. He gets to AEW and he realizes that Tony Khan is going to pay me all this money to let me do whatever the hell I want. And let me do all this goofy shit. So they put him in a feud with Orange Cassidy. And again, I'm not an Orange Cassidy fan. I don't care about the gimmick. At this point, I think the gimmick's kind of run its course. And I'm going to explain why. Jericho basically buried Orange Cassidy. Because Orange Cassidy beats him twice. And what has Orange Cassidy done since then? Name one thing of note that anyone can remember that Orange Cassidy has done since that Jericho feud. Name one thing. Nothing. He has done nothing because Jericho has made sure he has done nothing. Because AEW is all about Jericho, is all about the inner circle. And that is it. You look at Santana and Ortiz, those guys should be a top tag team in AEW. They should be AEW's, one of their top 3 teams, and they barely get used. They have not had any tag team title opportunities. There's Sammy Guevara, a guy I was never high on, but now I'm high on, even a lot. Guy has talent, guy has charisma. He could be something in the company. A world champion, no. Their TNT champion, yes, but he's constantly saddled with Jericho. Jake Hager I don't give 2 fucks about, but just those other guys in Inner Circle, they're buried pretty much because Jericho needs all these guys to make him look interesting. I mean, who's another guy? MJF, perfect example. MJF is, he's the biggest heel on the show. He is the heel on the show. And he's a guy that should have just been in the main event automatically. Just based off of his promo talking alone. Jericho pops in and wants to take away his heat because MJF is a threat. So he decides to pair him with the Inner Circle, and then the dinner, debonair, whatever the hell you want to call it, happens. And I've said it before, MJF has become Brian Griffin. He's become a goof. And, I mean, yeah, he's away from Jericho good, but he still has that stink on him. Like, at this point, you can't really take him seriously. You don't really know what they're doing with him or what they want to do with him. To me, it's nuts. It's nuts how Jericho has kind of hurt the company a lot. Because you would think a guy like Jericho could put somebody over. But he's really trying to put himself over. With his bad comedy skits and just looking like he's blown up all the time. He looks red anytime I see him. He can't run the ropes as well. He's out of shape. He's bad. Jericho's just bad. Plain and simple. Oh, man. And then just, I mean, Miro looks like he's kind of going back to being more of a badass, which is good. He turned on Kip Sabian. So, I mean, good for him. I mean, maybe he wants to be a badass instead of being a dork that plays video games. So, good for him. Who else? And then the whole clique thing. Not the clique. The Elite. I could give two shits. I don't care. I didn't care about the Bullet Club, when it was a thing. I don't care about it now. Like, who is this? How is anyone supposed to understand what this means? Like, if you never watch, New Japan, how are you supposed to know what the Elite or the Bullet Club is? You don't. I mean, Kenny Omega, to me, has not been a very good champion. Because he is not somebody that exudes coolness. He comes off as just a dork and a douche. Me and Kevin Castle said that a while back. He's a douchey dork. Plain and simple. With his weird promos, with that phone sex, singing voice of his. Yeah, Maurice, Roman Reigns has the cool factor. You look at all the champions of WWE. You got Roman Reigns, you got Bobby Lashley, you got Karrion Kross. All three of those guys are cool as fuck. All three of those guys look like they can beat the shit out of you. And they are badasses. Kenny Omega does not look cool. He does not look threatening or imposing. He looks like a fucking dork. And now, he's happy that he's the Impact Wrestling champion. Yeah, I'm the champion for a company that barely cracks, 200,000 viewers on a network that nobody has in a building with no fucking fans. I mean, I'll give Jericho credit on this. He even said, I'm not going to appear in an empty studio in Nashville. Chris Jericho doesn't do shit like that. At least Jericho has the wherewithal to go, yeah, I'm good. So, the whole Impact Wrestling thing is lost. I don't want to say it's lost its luster, because Impact Wrestling lost their luster ages ago. But it wasn't really interesting when it started. The idea of it was interesting because now it's like, okay, these guys can get noticed. These guys on Impact, they can get noticed on national TV. They can maybe make a little money. But the only people who have appeared on AEW from Impact are the Good Brothers. That's literally it. Nobody else. Not Rich Swann. Not Moose. Not Diana. I was going to call her Diana Taurasi. That was a basketball player. What the fuck is her name? Diana. Maurice, help me out here. What's her name? Diana, the current knockout women's champion. Diana Purrazzo. Thank you, man. Yeah, Diana Purrazzo. Diana Purrazzo in a match against fucking Shida. That'd be interesting. It's like, I can get why a lot of guys in AEW don't want to go to Impact. Okay. Why doesn't Impact allow... Why doesn't AEW allow Impact guys to get more TV time that aren't the Good Brothers? Yeah, you're right. They're back to being dorks. It's just it kind of boggles my mind. It's like, yeah, we're gonna give these guys a chance. We're in a cross promotion. We're in a partnership, but we're just only gonna bring in the Good Brothers because the Bullet Club. I just don't get it. I mean, speaking of future partnerships, we can just segue into this. WWE supposedly is in talks with MLW to possibly appear on each other's shows, which that's fucking interesting. That I would love to see. And this is fresh off of Daniel Bryan doing an interview from last week, talking about, where paraphrasing, he says, he thinks WWE should allow their wrestlers to wrestle for other promotions, to hone their craft, to get better. Because I know they used to do that before. Because he was mentioning that, Otis could be big in Japan because people will see him and they see Vader. So, I mean, that wouldn't be a bad idea, but just WWE wouldn't do it because then they want to control everything. Then they want more money. But yeah, I mean, it would be more so NXT, working with MLW, if anything. Which I don't know how that would happen because Court Bauer, who's the owner VP of MLW, has made some not so nice comments about WWE in the past, preferably Triple H. So I don't see that happening. I mean, as a fan, I would love for it to happen. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you, but I don't see it happening. But then again, stranger things have happening. Give me 1 second while I go get my food. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Just got the food. So, where was I at? Oh yeah, MLW and NXT. You're saying doesn't Moose have a criminal record? That's something. Yes. He, as far as was it like he had a domestic dispute from a while back, which is why WWE didn't sign him. Which, I mean, I think WWE will sign him. I mean, I can't really. I don't know. WWE likes to pretend that they're not gonna. That they're all about morality and don't beat your wives and don't cheat on your spouses. I mean, you can cheat on your spouses, just don't beat your wife. I don't know, but I mean, I think they'll sign him. I mean, because again, we don't know the situation. I mean, was it really that he hit her, or was it that they were just arguing and he punched a wall? Like, I don't know. I don't want to sound like I'm being insensitive or ignorant. I'm just saying we don't know the situation. Because usually when I hear domestic dispute, it ends up being a completely different story. But I think Moose will sign with the WWE. I mean, because he's a good pickup. I mean, he's in a lot better shape than he used to be. As far as like him on the mic, I haven't really. I don't watch Impact, so I can't really speak on that. But RJ says he's not really too. I know RJ told me he's not that good on the mic, so I don't. I'm only taking his word for it because he watches a lot more wrestling than me. So, as far as MLW goes, I mean, that would be great. But, I mean, Triple H, I think Triple H is at a point in his career where he's willing to do business, even if it's with somebody that he knows, has said not so nice things about him, which, we'll talk about Bret Hart in a bit. But I think if it's good business, Triple H will do it. I mean, it just all comes down to Court Bauer. I think if it's just Triple H that's going to be doing this, and Vince McMahon and Kevin Dunn have nothing to do with it, then it could happen. But if Vince tries to get on it, which I don't think Vince will, because I don't even think Vince even knows what MLW is. Like, he probably thinks it's baseball. Like, I don't fucking know. But if anything, it's just going to be Triple H, in the NXT, crew, like, Norman Smiley or whomever, that are going to be the ones, helming this. So, I mean, imagine the matchups. Cross versus fucking Jacob Fatu. Like, that will be fucking dope. I mean, Alexander Hammerstone versus, fill in the blank. Finn Balor, Adam Cole. Those would be some pretty good matches. The Von Erichs. Oof. The Von Erichs versus... why am I blanking on who the tag team champions are? The Von Erichs versus, MSK. So, I mean, those are some great matches. I'm gonna love to see it. Serena De La Renta, showing up on NXT television and just talking shit to William Regal. Like that. Oh my god, that was a good looking woman right there. I love her. She follows me on Twitter, by the way. I would love to see it. I just don't know if it's going to happen. So, and then speaking of MLW made its premiere on MLW on Vice TV today, in noon. The news for them is going to be that after the 5th, they're going to take a break. So they're mainly just going to show reruns, and then in July is when they're going to go back to doing live shows in front of audiences in the the 2300 Arena, which is in Pennsylvania. well, Pennsylvania in general, but Pennsylvania is allowing them to add in more people in the arena, so I believe it's 35% capacity. So MLW is going back to doing live shows in front of audiences, which is good. You know, MLW is going to be on Vice. You know, it's a network that I'm assuming a lot of people watch. I don't know, because, you know, Vice is mainly known for the wrestling shows and, you know, like news networks. So Vice, I'm almost positive Vice picked him up, you know, thinking, okay, if we pick you up, are you guys just going to be an empty arena show? MLW thought ahead. So good for MLW. I like MLW. I'll admit, I watch it as much as I can, but I don't watch it as much as I should. But now I'm going to watch it a lot more. Because, again, you have great guys on the show. Alexander Hammerstone, Jacob Fatu, you know, Serena, who am I forgetting? You know, Von Erichs, you know, they're cool as fuck. I love those guys. Dirty Tom Lawler. You know, like, what else can you ask? But yeah, going back to Triple H, yeah, I think Triple H can make it work. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting how it happens. It'll definitely give, you know, MLW those ratings. So, but yeah, going back to Triple H and Bret Hart. So, Bret Hart, I forgot what show he was on, but he's just been constantly going after Triple H. And I need to pull up the quote. So he brought up a story, which I actually read before, where he had talked about The Rock whenever he was in, when he was first starting out in the WWF. And he said, you know, that Triple H and Shawn Michaels would, you know, constantly just, you know, pick on The Rock and fuck with him and try to bully him around, and then try to sabotage his push. So let me pull up the actual thingy. He was on the 81 podcast. He said, I know that Triple H and maybe even Shawn Michaels back then were pretty ruthless. If someone was tied to me or connected to me, they would try to ruin them. Even Rock, Dwayne Johnson, they really tried to crack him, really bust his chops all the time, all while I was there. I remember telling Dwayne all the time, I remember going, don't listen to these guys. Don't let these guys like you're a really good talent. You don't need these guys. In fact, I wrestled, if you remember, when I did that big interview where I talked about America and how they can all kiss my ass. That same night, I think maybe on next week's taping, but it was filmed that night, I wrestled The Rock in a match. I remember that. Wrestled Dwayne Johnson. They wanted me to beat him in the ring. Triple H wanted me to beat Dwayne Johnson and win the Intercontinental title, and I refused. I said, what do I need the Intercontinental title for? Yeah, he's right. We ended up doing the figure four on the post, and Steve Austin came out. Owen and Davey came out for a run-in and a bunch of interference, and I remember Triple H was sick about it. He wanted me to beat... He had a thing for Dwayne Johnson. He wanted to ruin Dwayne Johnson. He just hated him. And I just remember saying, I like Dwayne Johnson, and I think he just got the Intercontinental title. He doesn't need me to take it from him. I didn't want to be Intercontinental Champion. It was all politics, and I think Triple H was just trying to steer me into the Intercontinental belt instead of the World belt. End quote. And then I looked up another quote where he said, you know, the only reason why Triple H was, or the only reason why people will remember Triple H is because of his daddy-in-law. So, I think, I don't know, Bret just, he tends to really say a lot of weird shit. Like, I mean, I get it. Bret's at this point where he doesn't need money. He doesn't need the WWE to, you know, give him a spot or, you know, put him on the show. He doesn't care. He's just going to say whatever the fuck he wants. I mean, like the whole thing with him and Seth where he was just constantly just shitting on Seth. Like, just constantly. To where Seth is like, man, you're really hurting my feelings. And he's constantly gone out of his way to shit on Triple H. And I can't really say he's wrong on most of these things because, you know, Triple H back in the day was a different person. So he's remembering a much different person, you know, as opposed to, you know, what Triple H is now. It's weird because obviously Triple H doesn't care. I'm pretty sure if they're going to ask Triple H about it, he's just going to be like, meh, you know, it is what it is. You know, he's going to give a Triple H answer. I'm pretty sure it does piss him off, but at the same time, I think it makes him laugh. So, what's going on, CM fucking Goof? But I mean, just yeah, I think Bret needs to maybe cool it with these shots at Triple H, because one of these days I think he is gonna need the WWE more than they need him, or maybe not. I don't know. I might be wrong, but then again, what the fuck do I know? But I mean, I've always been a Triple H supporter. I know I'm maybe one of very few. I don't know. I can't help it. I've always liked Triple H. When I first started watching wrestling, Triple H, I was one of the first people I saw, and I always thought he was cool. I always thought he was interesting. Triple H had the cool factor. And then years later he ends up being with Stephanie, and we all know how that happens. Hold on. CM fucking Goof is saying, Maurice, mute your mic. I don't think anyone's mic is on. Yeah, Maurice and CM, you guys are the only ones in the chat room. So, yeah, both of y'all are muted. Oh, okay, I guess Maurice. I honestly didn't hear it. Yeah, Triple H has the cool factor. I've always liked him. I've always been a fan of him. I mean, granted, I've always preferred him more as a face than a heel, because it's almost like he's trying too hard to be an asshole as a heel. Like he tries a really good job at pretending to be an asshole as a heel. He's better as a face, because when he's a heel, it feels like it's forced. Because I also think people already think he's an asshole. So when he tries to be an asshole, it's just like, yeah, this doesn't work for me. So I don't know, but compared to Triple H and Bret Hart, I'm gonna have to go with Triple H being a better, more interesting character than Bret. I mean, in the ring, Bret is a lot better than Triple H. But Triple H has become a much bigger star. I mean, is a lot of that due to the fact that he married Stephanie? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, we can't tell, because I know even before he got with Stephanie, he was already becoming a big star. He was already on his way to becoming something. So, I don't know. I'm not going to sit up here and speculate and say, one is not the right answer and the other is. So, I'm just going to say, we don't know. I don't know. But, yeah, that's just how I feel about it. So I guess we can kind of end it with SmackDown. Again, I said it was going to be a short show tonight. I'm just going to read like 2 questions that I saw on Twitter. So, yeah, last night I just saw the main event, which was Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan for the Universal Championship. And, the stipulation was made last week that, if Roman won, Daniel Bryan had to leave SmackDown. He was banished to SmackDown. So, the match definitely had a big fight feel to it. Roman coming out with new music, which I'm not sure how to feel about it, because I know Roman had said that he wanted to take his time with the song, because he didn't just want to choose like generic, rap or generic rock music. He actually wanted to personally put his hands on it, and when you hear the song, you're like, yeah, that's Roman. So I don't know. I need to pull it up, because I just, when I first heard it, I'm like, I'm not sure. Maybe I need to listen to it more to get used to it, because I didn't like Bailey's at first, but I got used to it, especially when it gets to that sweet guitar riff. But hold on, let me pull it up. Okay. Can any of you guys hear it? Okay, you guys can't hear it. Hold on. I'm just going to listen to it right now. So it has that opera, a cappella type of intro. I guess a little bit of hip hop. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about his new thing. What do you guys think? Did you guys get a chance to hear his new entrance? Or entrance theme, I mean. Maurice, CM? I'll give you guys a chance to answer. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad he changed the music because, he was of all the Shield guys. As soon as the group broke up, those guys got their own like music and their own look like immediately. Seth had a new theme. Next week. Dean Dean or Moxie, whatever you're gonna call him, had a new theme. Next week, and had a new look. For 6 years, Roman had the same entrance from the Shield. He had the same look from the Shield, and it's like, how is he supposed to be a top guy? How is he supposed to be different when he's literally just holding on to everything that's from the Shield? And now he's barely got a new look because he's still wearing the Shield pants, which I guess I can kind of see where his gimmick is coming from because he's the head of the table, he's the tribal chief, and his whole thing is I'm going to go out there and beat the shit out of you. So he doesn't want to wear traditional wrestling tights. So yeah, good for him. And then he has that golden glove, which I still think is kind of weird, but that's just me. And now he has new music. So, the Shield is pretty much officially dead. I mean, if it wasn't, dead already, it's, dead now. The Shield is done. So him and Daniel Bryan, the main event of SmackDown. Again, great match. These two, they always seem to work better with each other. Anytime I don't recall these two ever having a bad match. They've, to my knowledge, they've only wrestled, counting this match, 4 times. And all of them have been great. Daniel Bryan always seems to bring out the best in Roman. I was saying this about Roman for a while, and so did Rob from Wrestling Court. Roman is a better partner rather than a lead. Which I was having a conversation with somebody on Twitter, and I don't think they still didn't get what I was trying to say by that, which is Roman's best matches are against opponents that are better than him in the ring, technically, like an AJ Styles, like Daniel Bryan, for example, like Kevin Owens. Those guys are all great wrestlers. Roman is more of a brawler. He's someone that is a brawler. He goes out there and beats the shit out of you. He's not going to be able to go out there and lead a match on his own with somebody like a Baron Corbin or a Braun Strowman. I mean, unless you put Roman in a match against Braun, that's like no disqualification. Okay. You put him in the ring against Bobby Lashley, and you try to play to their strengths, which they had a really great match a while ago, which was, I believe, was like the main event of Extreme Rules, where they had a really good match and they had a really great match the next night because they both played up to their strengths, which is Bobby Lashley is this badass MMA guy, and Roman Reigns is this badass Samoan. So they were able to go out there and wrestle and kind of lead each other, if that makes any sense. When Roman is wrestling against an AJ Styles, he has the best part of him has to come out. He has to be able to not only force AJ to work his match, but he also has to work AJ's match, and it works. Same thing with Daniel Bryan. Same thing with Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is like a mix of, brawler, but also, technical wrestler. Him and Daniel had a hell of a match. Pat McAfee, I thought on commentary was great. The whole time he's just like, when Roman powerbombed, Daniel off the top rope, you just hear Pat McAfee, I think that killed him! Oh my god. So, I like Pat McAfee. I love Pat McAfee on commentary. But it was a great match. I mean, there was no way it was going to be a bad match. It had a great story to tell. Because for a second, you almost thought they were going to give it to Daniel, which they didn't. And smart, and good. I don't think Daniel Bryan will ever be champion again. I mean, because his contract runs up in September, And he's made it very clear he does not want to sign back. Like he has said, he literally has said, I want to wrestle for other companies. Like he hasn't said he's going to sign anywhere. He just wants to wrestle for other companies. So, I mean, go figure. Roman wins with a guillotine, which I thought was interesting. I'm kind of glad the spear isn't his, is not his finishing move anymore. It's more of just a, like a, what do you call it, a specialty move? Not a specialty move, but like, I guess a side move or a support. I don't know what the fuck you call it, but the guillotine, that's actually fucking cool. I like that he's using it as his finisher. Daniel Bryan doesn't tap out. He passed out. Cesaro comes out and goes after Roman for beating up Daniel, but Jey Uso comes out and beats down Cesaro, and then ties the ring ropes around his arm, so he has to watch Roman giving a concerto to Daniel Bryan. So that sets up the eventual, what I'm assuming is going to be the main event of that night, which is Roman Reigns and Cesaro. So good on Cesaro. Cesaro is getting his chance. He's been on a roll lately. He's going to wrestle Seth next week on the old school edition of SmackDown, which that's actually a question from Kyle. That should be interesting. I mean, because they're actually going to be bringing back the old set for next week on old school SmackDown. So that'll be fun. That's going to be a must watch, mainly just for the stage. As far as Daniel Bryan goes, where does he go from here? So his contract runs up in September, so I don't know if they're just literally going to keep him home until September, or he might even just go to NXT, because I doubt Daniel Bryan wants to go to Raw. I don't think anyone wants to go to Raw. I mean, keep Daniel Bryan the fuck off of Raw. Like, please. They have nothing for him over there. So put him on NXT, until his contract runs up, good matchups there. Him and Finn Balor, him and Gargano. I know Gargano posted something on Twitter, with him and Daniel Bryan when they're in the Indies. I mean, shit, that can be a nice way to retire him against Cross. Cross and Daniel Bryan, retirement match, title versus career match. That'd be a great story. I mean, that'd be a way to get Cross a lot of heat. Is that he retires Daniel Bryan? There you go. I just booked your next takeover. You're welcome. Matter of fact, I just booked takeover fucking SummerSlam for you, so you're welcome. But as far as like Daniel Bryan going anywhere else, I don't want to see him going to AEW. I really don't. I don't want to see anybody going to AEW. I don't want to see anyone I like going to AEW. Like, that's just me. I know he spoke highly of Kenny Omega, and Kenny Omega retweeted it. I really hope I hope it's just a thing if he just wants to, live out his fantasies of wrestling anywhere else. So I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do. I don't even think he knows what he wants to do. So, that's pretty much the show. I mean, I said it was going to be a short show. Let's look at the questions. I only had 2 people reply. So Kyle asked me what are my thoughts on WWE Old School SmackDown next week. I think it could be fun. I don't know who you're going to bring back. I don't know who you can bring back, because you can't bring back The Rock. The Rock has made it clear he does not want to perform in front of no fans. He wants to perform in front of fans. So, I mean, what else can you do? So I don't know. But I'm definitely going to watch it. And then Joseph Moore asked me, why is the sky blue? Well, he asked me 3 questions. Why is the sky blue? I mean, science. Rain, water, condensation, whatever you want to call it. That's my best guess. Why is a peanut neither a pea nor a nut? Good question. And then he asked me, why is Carmella still employed? I'll make it very simple. Blonde, fake tits, and she's banging one of the lead announcers. That is my best assumption for that. Other than that, that's really the show. Unless you guys got some questions for me. I'll just sit here for about 5 minutes. If you guys have any questions, I will answer it. Ask me anything. Are muffins just bald cupcakes? Hmm. That's an interesting question, CM. I'm going to go with yes. It's a very interesting annotation. Or, well, you know what the fuck I mean. Maurice, you have a question? I'll take one more question. Thoughts on potential? I actually covered that. I think you walked in like right when I was finished talking about it. I hope it happens. I mean, I would love for it to happen. Not sure it would because Court Bauer is the head guy in MLW and he's had some not so nice things to say about Triple H. But then again, Triple H, I don't think he cares. To him, it's all about, and this has kind of become a played-out term, what's best for business. And, this is fresh off of Daniel Bryan suggesting that, the company should work with other companies. So, I mean, I think it would be cool. I think it would be a good thing, Jacob Fatu versus Cross, Alexander Hammerstone versus Finn Balor or Adam Cole. The Von Erichs versus MSK. Serena De La Renta showing up on fucking NXT just shit talking William Regal. Like, that'd be so cool. I would love it. I just don't think it will happen. I think if it's just Triple H that's doing this deal and Vince McMahon and Kevin Dunn are not anywhere near it, I think it could happen. Once Hammerstone takes about the Fatu, who does he feud with after contract? Good point. I'll have to think about that one because I really don't know. But I forgot. I was going to say something about it. I was going to say something else about MLW, and then my mind just went blank. Did you guys watch the show? The MLW show at noon? It came out at, was it 12? Was it a live show, or was it a new show, or was it just it was a rerun? Okay. Yeah, because they, was it MLW said that they're going to take a break until July whenever they're able to have shows in the 2300 arena with fans, which is good. Good on them. And good on Vice for being, patient about it. But speaking of Vice, have you guys... Vice put out part 1 of the Brian Pillman Dark Side of the Ring episode. Did you guys watch it yet? Is MLW taking a hiatus on the partnership to have a country show? Would anyone eager to see Simon Gotch and Navarre on TV? I mean, I don't know about eager. I mean, but it'd be interesting because I don't know how you can have Simon Gotch show up on WWE TV and for people to not recognize him as as Simon Gotch from the Vaudevillains. I mean, it would be interesting. I think NXT will be a lot more smarter because they wouldn't be stupid about it, like Dabba-Kato. They would see him and go, "Hey, wait, we remember that guy, but he looks a lot different." Or someone like Daivari. I mean, it might happen. Before they premiere back on July. So who knows? Yeah, like I mentioned, Vice saw episode. Yeah, no idea. Brian's ex-wife killed herself. That was. It's a really sad story. I mean, I feel bad for that family. I know Missy Hyatt had she posted something very nice about Bryan. She actually said that she was actually there with his wife when she was getting her ultrasound when she was pregnant with their daughter. So she knew Bryan pretty well. I mean, Missy Hyatt, you can say what you want about her. Missy Hyatt seems like somebody that is very cool to be around. I think people really just talk about her personal time. I mean, her personal business or whatever you want to call it, but she seems like somebody who's just cool to be around. Like, Steve Austin says very nice things about her. Wasn't that the girl Vince told her, how could your kids live without Bryan? That time in Raw, no. I need to watch it. I'm going to watch it as soon as I get off here because I really want to watch it. It's going to be a two-parter on, Thursday, May 6th, so I'm looking forward to that. Season 3, I think, it's going to be cut in two, pretty much, because there's a shit ton of fucking show. There's a shit ton of episodes. Was it 13 episodes? Looking forward to that. Looking forward to Ultimate Warrior. I'm a little hesitant about the Warrior thing because I don't know if they're going to trash him. Which I hate because, the guy's been dead. And what exactly was Ultimate Warrior's crime in wrestling? The fact that he held up Vince for money and didn't, think that this was the end-all be-all? Yeah, you can talk about, him making the homophobic comments. That's one thing, but I'm just going to shut the fuck up. I really don't know. But the plane ride from hell will be interesting. I have a feeling that's... I want to like that episode, but I don't know because I have a feeling it's not going to be as good as I think it will. Granted, plane ride from hell... The Dark Side of the Ring has been very good. The guys, Evan Husney, they've really done a great job with this show. But I have a feeling about that episode. I have a feeling it's not going to be as good as I want it to be. Because, I've heard every story about it. I think everybody that was on the plane ride has told every version of the story. Collision in Korea, I'm interested to see. There's a lot of stories on here that I'm not familiar with. The Nick Gage one, I don't know if I should watch it or not because I don't want to offend anyone. I'm not a fan of that hardcore deathmatch shit. I'm really not. And then the fact that Moxley is just gladly talking about how hey, he almost sliced off my tongue with a pizza cutter. Like there's a 2-minute clip, Maurice, of that episode where Moxley's talking about wrestling Nick Gage. And Nick Gage fucking almost damn near cut off Moxley's tongue with a pizza cutter. And I don't know. I really don't want to watch it. I'll watch it, but I don't know. I'm probably going to have different feelings about it than most people. But, yeah, it should be an overall great season. Because last season I thought was the better season. Mainly off of, Benoit and Owen Hart alone. And there's that one thing in the trailer where Jim Cornette was like, can we get a light side of the ring? Which I kind of agree with because, yeah, these are great stories, but it's just like, damn, can I see a good story? Can I see, where a guy finds, $5 on the freaking sidewalk? Can I hear something good happen? So, I know they're doing, a spin-off of, other non-wrestling Dark Side of the whatchamacallit. So those should be interesting. Yeah, again, I'm going to watch it. And, all right, so shout-outs, Wrestling Soup, of course. Kevin Castle. Kevin Castle just put out a new show with his friend Baseball Chicky. It's called Castle and Chicky's, was it Awesome Adventure? Oh, fuck. Oh, my God, I'm going to sound like the world's biggest asshole for forgetting the name of the show. I just fucking saved it to Spotify. The show just came out, was it a few days ago? Hold on. God damn it. I have it right here. It's called Castle and Chicky Podcast Adventures. That's what it's called. Just came out. And again, I'm going to listen to it. I'm behind on everyone's stuff, so I try to make time out of my day to listen to everybody's shit as much as I can. But yeah, listen to a show. Kev's good people. Yeah, support Kev. Kevin Castle was our uncle or our father in some way or no, some shape or form. And Baseball Chickie, of course, she's cool as fuck. I follow her on social media. She's cool as fuck. Love her. And then Trez, of course, support Trez. Jeff Lippman, Garden of Doom. Jeff Lippman, Garden of Doom, and Hammerlock Hangover, support them. Texas Podcast Massacre, if you're a fan of horror movies. Let's see, Clark Street Wrestling Podcast. RJ and Brother Monty, good dudes, support them as well. Demented Unusual, if you're a fan of serial killer lore and crime stories. Let's see, False Count Radio with Andrew Carlick, Wrestling Court with Julian Robb, and Ruben Prime, of course. We got something up pretty soon. And just shout to everybody. Shout out to everybody that has a podcast. Shout out to everybody who works their ass off to put these shows out for you guys. And I'll upload this show ASAP. And I'll be doing something with John Draper. That's all I'm going to say. But anyways, guys, take care. Have a great Saturday. Appreciate you guys for showing up. CM, Maurice. Hope you guys have a great Saturday. Laters, man. And stay safe. Peace.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari. It's Drew Yari.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari. It's Drew Yari.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari.